FCR 14 is all but a couple of weeks away. I'm CM Andersson, part of the FCR commentary team, and today I'm at Västerås Fight Club to roll with the pros. Alexander Lööf is here, among others. Let's see what they're all about. Come on. När blev Daniel Chankalo så krallig?
Ja, jag fick höra att du ska komma in.
Aj. Kul att se er, grabbar. Vad händer det? Kul att se dig. Är det bra? Amen. Okay, so 5 years ago, me and Alexander Lööf had an amateur contest. I was a young, hungry 26-year-old, and he was a teenage something. We've been talking a lot of shit. It's been 5 years, and I told him, today, I'm about to get him. Let's see what happens. Official weigh-in. Okay. I'm saying 74.5 is my guess.
Hey, då är vi samma. Oh,
I know myself.
Mystic Mac.
I know myself.
Mystic Mac.
Okay. Official weight. Alexander Lööf.
Fighting out of the red corner. Dude!
4,7.
Nej, det är 200 gram emellan.
74.7.
Det är unfair. He's heavier than
Yes.
He's heavier. How can we compete? 200 grams, man.
The trash talking has been on point. We've been following these guys online on the commentary sections of posts and this and that. They've been talking shit. They've been going at each other. They're gonna have a rematch now, and now we'll see who will back up their trash talk. Who's the big dog? Who's... Jag vet inte vad jag ska säga.
We just had a warm-up round. He's weak as shit. I don't think he's ready for this fight. He's about to get smashed.
Go Pacific Man, I hope you got that. And I hope you don't get this. This is the exact same thing that happened this Saturday. No, not the fight. Don't remind me of the fight. No.
You know, the last time I saw him, he was like 19 years old. He didn't have a muscle to save his life. Now, he weighs 200 grams more than me, so, you know, it's unfair.
You have no muscle. He says you have no muscle.
You know, black belts don't talk shit. They just submit people.
Varför gör det lätt när man gör det svårt? Gå bara in i saker. Det är som man blir bra.
They told me that a teenager was in the building. I said, nice. Teenager, that sounds like an easy round. Rest round. I was wrong.
This man, Robert.
Men jag tänker på att jag är gammal.
Nasty on his back. Nasty.
I'm not done.
5 rounds.
But I need more than a minute.
Let's wrestle, kid.
Let's wrestle.
wrestle.
Now I have the chance to back up all of the shit talk. It's time.
Good grappling. Much better when we faced each other before. Purple belt, I'm white belt. but I never have put on a gi. If we have a gi, different game.
So your first BJJ
He would submit me like every fifth
Habib white belt.
second or something.
Alla vitbält.
But very good grappling. Fun sparring.
That's the thing. If it would have been with strikes, I wouldn't be able to talk right now. If it would have been with the gi, he would sit here and be tired. It was the same thing.
Maybe I go to sleep as well. But good sparring.
Yeah,
very good.
good round, brother.
Very good.
Good round. Vi kör snart. Jag ska vila längre än alla andra. I don't give a shit. I'm too old. Okay, so Alexander, good to see you again.
The same.
That was a nice couple of rolls, man.
Yes.
Really was. So I've been talking a lot of shit. I've been saying that I want a rematch and stuff, and I feel like I got a little taste today.
Yes.
Maybe too much of a taste. So as some of the viewers might know, I mean, you're 24?
24, yeah.
24, and I'm 31. And if we back the tape up about 5 years ago, there was a 26-year-old and a 19-year-old who had a fight.
Yes.
Their
My third fight,
Yep.
and your...
My third fight as
Okay,
well.
okay.
Yeah. So 2017 October. Can you describe to me what you felt when you were waiting for a certain someone in the ring?
You know, back then I was 2-0, so I have only competed 2 times. 1-2, of course. And then I had this hype about myself, so I thought like no one could beat me. So going into the fight against you, I was very like on momentum, you know, so I felt good. But then, you know, when I saw you before the weigh-in and stuff, I was like, oh motherfucker, this guy is big. And then first I was like, no way, this guy is in my weight class. So then when I find out you were the guy I was facing, I was like, what the fuck? And then I told Jörgen, like, this guy, I'm the one I'm facing. And then when we went in the cage, I was like, you know, all the lights were on you, and you had
lighting.
fucking
Lighting was good.
Big muscle tits, everything. So I was like, what? Look at my tits, fucking baby tits. And then, yeah, you know, I felt like, yeah, I'm just gonna go to war, and then I did a submission.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But back then I was actually not a grappler, but I couldn't strike back then. But then I did a rear naked choke on you.
Yes, I know.
And then I live on that one today as well.
Yep. I was hoping to get you back on that one. I couldn't get it out. I couldn't manage to squeeze one out today, but maybe in the future.
Yeah.
I remember that as well. I was 1-1, and I came in, and I remember I came off a nice win just a couple of weeks earlier, and I was feeling myself, feeling kind of good. And I remember I land a punch, and then I take you down. I end up in a guillotine. You're holding me in a guillotine.
Yeah.
And then you sweep me.
Yeah.
And then I remember I lost all of my adrenaline. All of my adrenaline was lost, and I feel like, oh, it's so quiet in here. It's so quiet, and I'm like, this is boring. What am I doing in this turtle position? I stand up, and I have you on my back like a backpack.
Yeah. On that one, I didn't even know I could strike from there because it was B-class shoot fighting. So when you're on the ground, I couldn't punch you when we was grappling.
Yeah.
So when I was on when you stood up and I was like on the backpack moment, everybody like screaming, punch.
I remember
we're
that.
grappling now. But then you stood up, and then boom, boom, and then
You got it.
I got the choke in, and then we fell down, and then I tap you. But
and I remember that we talked after the fight, and you were very humble and a very nice guy, and you still are. And you said like, yeah, so when I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to go to pro, and I was feeling like, pro, god damn it, like I'm 26, like this might be my last fight, and I'm not sure. And what happened was a couple of weeks after that, I had my last fight. So I only had 4 amateur MMA fights, and you, good sir, you have taken this all the way. I mean, since then you might have, how many fights do you think you've had since October 2017?
I think I have probably like 20 amateur fights, something.
Yeah.
I think I have 20 something.
Yeah.
So it's a couple. So you know, when I did my pro debut, I felt confident. So
yeah,
all those fights are. But you know, back then also I was in my amateur career I didn't train so much. You know, I could train maybe 2-3 times a week. Sometimes I trained like 2 times a week, then I was gone for 3 months, and then I came back and then took a fight 1 week later. So I didn't train as much. So
what made you take this game seriously?
You know, it was, of course, I saw like Tobias Harila and, you know, people here who turned pro, and I was motivated about it. And then I asked my coach, like, when I'm turning pro, because I've knocked people out in IMF and stuff. So I felt like I had a talent, but I still didn't, you know, did the hard work to be in my physical prime and stuff. So, you know, back then I was like asking Jürgen, my coach, I want to turn pro, and he said, kinda, you need to train more. And then from there I was training, and then he said like, okay, we take a fight now. In my amateur career, everybody knew me like a heavy puncher that kind of faded away after the first or second round in the conditioning, but that was just because I didn't train. And now when I train, I do much cardio, everything I do pretty much. So now I can go 3 rounds. We have seen me go 3 rounds two times now in 5-minute rounds in professional. So now it's no problem, you know. So the only thing that was missing was the hard work.
Yeah, the dedication.
Yeah, exactly. Cardio. So now I'm there.
So I want to back up a little bit to what I said about the rankings, because I want to hear your take on this. Because when you were 3-0 and Samuel Bark was also 3-0, you had a big main event at FCR. You beat him that day, and he later on went to Cage Warriors and he beat your teammate Tobias Harila, who has for a long time been the #1 featherweight in this country. And then some sites saw that, they did some MMA math, and they said that you beat the guy who beat the guy who beat the guy. I want to hear your take on that. Where do you feel you stack up in the featherweight division?
Yeah, I think I stack up pretty good with everybody, you know, but the Samuel Bark Harila fight was, I think, you know, me and Harila spar pretty much every week, you know. So we get the best of each other all the time, but you know, it's also, you know, styles makes fights, and everything like that. So I think that fight was kind of me and Samuel Bark fight as well, you know. I knew I couldn't like go in and trade with Samuel on like his tie distance, you know. So I needed to punch, move, just get that W, you know. So I didn't like force any power too much, or because then I would probably get caught, you know. So I did what I had to do, and I won the fight. And Harila Bark, just the thing happened, you know. So good. I'm very impressed of Bark, of course. You know, Harila is no joke. No. I spar with him very much. He's heavy puncher, very good hands, counter strikes all the time, and he's very good striker. So I'm not gonna say that I thought Bark's gonna win, but I for sure thought Harila would probably knock him out, you know. So when Samuel stepped up and took the fight on like 1 week notice, before the fight I was like, whoa, this guy's got balls, of course. And then he won that fight, so good for Bark, you know. I'm just happy, you know. I don't like the Swedish matchup sometimes, because we're such a small country, so I want the MMA in Sweden to like go forward, you know. And we have a good fighters in almost every division, so I want many fighters to like go out in Europe and compete against other countries and all that. But when we face each other, we almost push down each other a bit. But also you need to beat each other to be the best, of course. But you know, it's fun when this Swedish matchup are happening. But I think like Samuel, me, and Tobias, and Felipe Lima, of course. So all of those fighters are upcoming, and we need to just take all the fights we can outside of Sweden as well, so we can show the world that Swedish MMA is no joke.
Yeah, and I understand that as well for you, since you've been fighting as an amateur in Sweden and in this country for so long. You've faced a lot of the Swedish fighters, and now, as you say, the cream rises to the top, and now you have the fighters that you just mentioned, and you can all go to the big show. You can all get to the UFC together without knocking each other out on your way there. So I like that point. But speaking of Swedish matchups, now November 26th, you will be the co-main event facing off against another Swedish featherweight, Fernando Flores. What are your thoughts on that matchup?
Fun matchup. Fernando I think is more than 10 years older than me. Probably like 13 years older than me. I don't know. He's old, but he's a savage, you know. I respect Fernando very much. He's a good fighter with a big heart. I've seen fights with him against Felipe Lima, Tobias. He faced good fighters, so he's no joke, and he went to decision with Lima. That I was very impressed of. Lima maybe won that fight pretty dominant, but still he went 3 rounds with Lima, and he has had some good wins, I think, against Simon Sköld. So he has a couple of good wins. Not the best record maybe, but I know he's big heart and very tough opponent. So I think this matchup will be fun. I think he will try to take me down and stuff. If he chooses to trade, it's on him, but I think he will try to tire me out or submit me.
Yeah, and so you're not looking through Fernando necessarily, but you're looking at this next obstacle. But let's say you come away with the win here. If you win, you will be 5-0, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
5-0, young, hungry. Where does Alexander Lööf see his immediate future after this fight?
I see my future like, I have no stress at all. I think people are like, oh, I need to be here and there and blah blah blah, make some big money fast and everything. I don't. Of course, I want to do that as well, but I have no stress. You know, I feel like I have many years until I'm in my prime. You know, so when I'm ready for the UFC, I'm ready. I know I'm not there yet, but I will be soon enough. And I just keep taking fights whenever, wherever, and then I just defend that 0.
Beautiful, man. You're looking at maybe KSW, Cage Warriors.
Doesn't matter.
Maybe.
Doesn't matter. You know where I will end up. There I end up. You know, if I take fights at KSW, Cage Warriors, doesn't matter. You know, it's just I get those good opponents that win or loss. You know, that's making me better. You know.
Yeah.
You know, you can lose fights. I don't care. You know, everybody is like, oh, this guy is undefeated, blah blah blah. I don't think about this undefeated stuff. You know, I feel like it's kind of a waste of energy to think about this 0, because that was one of the reasons I took the fight with Samuel. You know, I think many people thought, you know, Samuel is gonna knock me out and stuff. But I also, of course, I was thinking about that as well. But you know, if I want to be the best, I can't just taking this guys who have 2-6 in record or stuff. I won't get better to when I face those guys. So even if I would have lost that fight against Samuel, or if he would have knocked me out, I know I will be better next time. So I like this tough opponents, and that's also Fernando. Sure, he doesn't have the best record, but I know he's a hard guy to finish. I think Harila is one of the only guys who have finished him, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I remember I called that fight about 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
I think that was the first time someone had ever knocked Fernando out.
Yeah, so he's good. He's good.
Well then, Alex, November 26th here in Västerås. I will be there calling the fight as always.
Cool.
I wish you the best of luck, man.
Thank you.